ever imagine AI, like not just helping you code faster, but actually, changing how innovation happens?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
The world of open source software, where anyone can contribute, and how large language models, or LLMs like GitHub Copilot, are shaking things up.
It's a fascinating time. Imagine a real-world experiment where one group gets a powerful new tool and the other doesn't. That's what's happening with Python and R.
Okay.
Two popular coding languages. After Copilot launched with support for Python, but not R.
Okay, so researchers get a front row seat to see what happens when you give one language an AI boost. What do they find?
So researchers from Tel Aviv University and NYU discovered that Python packages, those toolboxes of pre-written code, saw a huge jump in updates, almost 18% more compared to the R packages.
18%, that's significant. What's driving that increase?
A surge in what are called commits, which are essentially individual code contributions. Think of them like suggestions for improvements, bug fixes, or new features.
Right.
The study found a whopping 51% jump in commits for Python.
Wow, so way more activity happening kind of behind the scenes. But what kind of activity? Were these commits focused on big, flashy new features for the Python packages?
Surprisingly, no. The biggest impact was on the maintenance work.
Yeah.
The bug fixes, compatibility updates, and all the less glamorous but essential tasks that keep software running smoothly.
That's interesting. Why focus on the less glamorous side of things? That doesn't sound very AI to me.
That's where understanding how LLMs think comes in.
Okay.
They excel at what we call interpolative tasks. Think of it like working inside the box. Okay, take a buggy line of code, for example. An LLM, like Copilot, can compare it to thousands of similar examples it's seen before, identify the error, and suggest the exact fix.
So it's like having an AI assistant who's amazing at finding the right puzzle piece because they've seen the whole picture before.
Exactly. LLMs are great at connecting the dots, but when it comes to outside-the-box thinking, those leaps of logic and exploration into the unknown, that's where they struggle.
So when it comes to like inventing a whole new algorithm or a completely new approach to a problem, that's still in the hands of human programmers.
For now, yeah. These are what we call extrapolative tasks. They require that outside-the-box thinking where the solution isn't about connecting existing dots, but imagining entirely new ones.
So it's like the difference between, say, improving the color scheme of a graph to make the data clearer versus inventing a whole new type of chart to represent the data in a groundbreaking way.
That's a great way to put it. The researchers actually used a similar analogy in their study. They talked about it in terms of plotting data on a graph, tweaking the existing elements to make them better. That's your inside-the-box work where LLMs shine. But coming up with a totally new way to visualize the data that's outside the box and still requires the, uniquely human spark.
This makes me think about the potential consequences, though. If LLMs are primarily focused on making improvements within existing frameworks, could that lead to a situation where the already popular projects just become even more dominant? Like, if it's easier for Copilot to contribute to projects with lots of data, won't those projects just snowball ahead?
That's a very astute observation, and it's one of the concerns the researchers raise. They found that the impact of Copilot was strongest on Python packages that were already popular. They call it the popularity gap.
So it's like the old saying, the rich get richer.
Precisely. Popular projects tend to have more of everything, more users, more discussions, more documentation. All of that provides a richer context for the LLM to work with, which leads to even better suggestions, further increasing their popularity.
And that creates a feedback loop where the AI is inadvertently reinforcing existing hierarchies.
Exactly. And that raises some important questions about the long-term impact on innovation. If all the attention and AI assistance is flowing toward the already successful projects, what happens to the smaller niche projects that might hold the seeds of the next breakthrough?
That's a big question. And it's something that applies even beyond the world of coding. If we're not careful, could we end up in a world where AI makes us so good at optimizing the present that we forget to invent the future?
It's a real concern.
It feels like, I don't know, that we're approaching a crossroads, right?
Yeah.
On the one hand, we have these incredible tools that can help us solve complex problems with like unprecedented speed and efficiency. But on the other hand, there's this risk of becoming too reliant on those tools.
Yeah.
Potentially limiting our ability to see beyond the existing solutions and truly innovate.
I think that's a great way to frame it, yeah. It's not about demonizing AI or rejecting these advancements. It's about recognizing both the incredible opportunities and the potential pitfalls. And and figuring out how to navigate this new landscape thoughtfully.
So how do we do that? How do we ensure that we're using AI to expand our horizons rather than limit them?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't think there's a single easy answer, but one thing we can do is actively cultivate a mindset of outside-the-box thinking,
Okay.
encourage exploration, experimentation, and even, dare I say, failure.
Because sometimes those failures are the stepping stones to the most groundbreaking discoveries.
Absolutely. We need to celebrate those who are willing to take risks, who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible, even if it means venturing outside the comfortable and familiar.
And it's not just about encouraging individual creativity, though, right?
Yeah.
There's also a role for institutions, universities, research labs, even governments to foster an environment where this outside-the-box thinking can flourish.
Exactly. We need to think about the structures and incentives that are in place. How can we support researchers, entrepreneurs, and innovators who are tackling those risky but potentially revolutionary projects? How do we create spaces where those ideas can be explored and developed without the pressure to deliver immediate, predictable results?
It feels like a cultural shift is needed. A shift away from purely optimizing for efficiency and toward a greater appreciation for the value of exploration, experimentation, and even serendipity.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's a message that resonates far beyond the world of software development. Whether you're a scientist, an artist, an entrepreneur, or simply a curious individual trying to make sense of this rapidly changing world, the question remains the same. How do we leverage these powerful new tools in a way that amplifies our own human ingenuity and creativity, rather than diminishing it?
That's a powerful question to leave us with. It's a question that will continue to challenge and inspire us as we navigate this exciting but uncertain future. This has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of AI, open source software, and the future of innovation. We hope you found it thought-provoking and inspiring. Until next time, keep asking those big questions, keep pushing those boundaries, and most importantly, never stop exploring.